The moment Sheng Shao You stepped into the house, a heat unlike anything he had ever experienced washed over him. His pulse raced, his skin tingled, and a desperate, uncontrollable need surged through his veins. He tried to ignore it at first, tried to tell himself it was just fatigue from the day, that he was imagining things, but every fiber of his body screamed otherwise. The sensation was overwhelming, urgent, impossible to suppress. Even as an alpha, even as someone trained to control his instincts, Sheng felt utterly powerless against the flood of desire coursing through him. Hua Yong, standing across the living room, seemed to sense it immediately. He didn't need Sheng to say anything. The faintest glimmer in his dark, calculating eyes told him all he needed to know. "You're in heat," Hua Yong said, his voice low, smooth, and full of an intensity that made Sheng shiver. Sheng froze, heat pooling in his stomach, his body betraying him in ways he could not contain. Hua Yong took a step closer, deliberate, confident, and undeniably dangerous. Every alpha instinct in Sheng screamed to resist, to assert control, but he couldn't. Not against Hua Yong, not tonight. Hua Yong's presence was magnetic, overpowering. Even without touching him, Sheng could feel the command in every movement, every breath. His body responded immediately, quivering, aching, trembling with a hunger he could neither deny nor name. Hua Yong moved like a predator who had been waiting for this moment for years, and Sheng knew, deep down, that he had been marked long before his body betrayed him tonight. Hua Yong's hand lifted slowly, brushing a thumb against Sheng's jaw, and Sheng's knees weakened involuntarily. The heat inside him flared, and he realized that he was utterly, completely at Hua Yong's mercy. "You're mine," Hua Yong whispered, leaning close enough for his warm breath to graze Sheng's ear. The words were a promise and a command, each syllable wrapping around Sheng's mind and body like chains. Sheng's heart pounded in response, erratic and wild. He opened his mouth to speak, to protest, but no sound came. All he could do was shiver, every inch of him hyper-aware, every nerve alive with need. Hua Yong had this effect on him, always had. And now, in the heat of the moment, there was no escape. The heat rolled through Sheng in waves, making him shiver, tremble, ache. He pressed a hand to his chest, trying to steady his racing heart, but Hua Yong's presence left no room for calm. Hua Yong stepped closer, one hand sliding around Sheng's waist, pulling him effortlessly into his embrace. Sheng gasped, a strangled sound that betrayed his desperate hunger. Hua Yong's lips found his neck, brushing softly at first, then with more intent, teasing, marking, asserting possession. Sheng's mind went blank. There was no thought left, no reasoning. Only the fierce, consuming need that demanded release. Hua Yong's control over him was absolute. Every movement, every touch was deliberate. His hands roamed, exploring, claiming, igniting a fire inside Sheng that he had never felt before. Sheng's body reacted instinctively, muscles tightening and relaxing, responding to the slightest brush of Hua Yong's fingers. Every nerve ending screamed, every sense heightened. The heat of the room, the warmth of Hua Yong's body, the soft hum of his voice, all combined to make Sheng's entire being ache with longing. He tried to step back, to regain some semblance of control, but Hua Yong's grip was firm, unyielding. "Don't fight it," Hua Yong murmured, voice low and intimate. Sheng felt himself melting under the words, every shred of resistance evaporating. He wanted to fight, wanted to assert himself, but his body betrayed him. Every shiver, every tremble, every desperate gasp made it clear. Sheng Shao You was helpless, utterly consumed by his own desire and by the man before him. Hua Yong leaned in, capturing Sheng's lips in a kiss that was both tender and demanding. Sheng's hands moved automatically, tangling in Hua Yong's hair, clutching at his shirt, pulling him closer, needing more. The kiss deepened, and Sheng felt the fire inside him flare uncontrollably. Every moan, every gasp, every whispered name only fanned the flames. Hua Yong's dominance was absolute. and Sheng found, with a mixture of fear and exhilaration, that he didn't want it any other way. Hours passed in a blur of heat and whispered words, soft touches and urgent need. Hua Yong never left Sheng's side, never let him forget that he was desired, wanted, and claimed. The night became a tapestry of sensation, a dance of possession and surrender, teasing and fulfillment. Sheng's body was on fire, every nerve alive, every instinct consumed by the man who had loved him for 15 years. The enigma who had orchestrated every cruel twist to bring him to this exact moment. Sheng's pride, his alpha status, his reputation all faded in the face of Hua Yong's relentless claim. Every touch, every kiss, every whispered promise stripped away his control until there was nothing left but raw, desperate need. Hua Yong's mastery over him was infuriating and intoxicating. He teased, coaxed, and dominated, knowing exactly how to push Sheng to the brink, then pulling back just enough to make him ache for more. By midnight, Sheng's body was trembling with exhaustion, yet the fire inside him refused to die down. Hua Yong's hands roamed, exploring, claiming, marking him in ways both physical and emotional. Sheng gasped, moaned, and surrendered completely. He had never known a desire so overwhelming, so all-consuming. Hua Yong's presence was a drug, and Sheng was addicted, hopelessly, utterly, even in moments of pause. When their breathing slowed, Hua Yong never let him forget the truth. He was mine. The words hung between them like a tangible force, wrapping Sheng in warmth, possession, and unyielding intensity. Every glance, every touch, every whispered declaration reinforced it. Sheng's body shivered with anticipation, craving the next wave of pleasure, the next mark of dominance, the next intimate reminder that he belonged, wholly and irrevocably, to Hua Yong. Sheng's body shivered as Hua Yong's hands moved along his back, tracing patterns that made his spine arch involuntarily. Every nerve was alive, every inch of skin hypersensitive. Sheng wanted to push him away, to regain some shred of control, but the truth was terrifying and exhilarating at once. He didn't want to. Not really. Hua Yong's touch ignited a fire that consumed all reason, all logic. He had always been careful, calculated, precise, and in this moment, that precision turned into an art of seduction, a symphony of heat that Sheng couldn't resist. Hua Yong leaned closer, his lips brushing against Sheng's ear as he whispered words that made his heart pound and stomach twist with need. "You've wanted this, haven't you?" he murmured. Sheng's breath hitched, a small moan escaping despite his best efforts. He couldn't deny it. Every suppressed desire, every secret longing he had ever hidden, even from himself, was coming alive under Hua Yong's control. The heat that had started as a subtle ache now roared through him like wildfire. Hua Yong's hands moved with deliberate care, exploring, claiming, teasing. Sheng's body responded instantly, his muscles tightening, then trembling with anticipation. He gasped, trying to pull back, trying to catch his breath, but Hua Yong's grip was unrelenting. "You don't get to fight me tonight," Hua Yong said, voice low and commanding, "because you belong to me." Every word was a spark, igniting every nerve, every hidden desire. Sheng could feel himself losing control, every instinct surrendering to the man who had loved him for over 15 years. The heat inside him was relentless, a storm of longing and need that he had no power to contain. Hua Yong pressed closer, his body a solid wall of dominance and warmth. Sheng felt the pull of him, irresistible, magnetic, undeniable. Every inch of him ached with need, every thought consumed by desire. He had always been proud, strong, a leader in control of everything. But tonight, all of that mattered nothing. Hua Yong had stripped him bare, body and soul, leaving him exposed, vulnerable, trembling with anticipation. Hours passed in a haze of sensation. Hua Yong never let him rest for long, teasing, coaxing, claiming, always aware of Sheng's limits, always pushing just enough to make him ache for more. Sheng's body was a map of desire, every shiver and gasp a testament to Hua Yong's mastery. He felt himself melting, surrendering completely to the man who had manipulated, schemed, and loved him all these years. The intensity was overwhelming, almost unbearable. But Sheng couldn't stop himself. He didn't want to. Hua Yong's lips traced along Sheng's neck, over his collarbone, and down his chest, each kiss leaving a trail of heat and fire. Sheng shivered violently, gasping as his body responded instinctively. Every nerve ending screamed. Every muscle tensed and relaxed in rhythm with Hua Yong's movements. He tried to remember reason, tried to remind himself of his pride, of his status as an S-class alpha, but it was useless. The fire inside him consumed all logic. He was lost, utterly and completely, in the heat and the man claiming him. "You're mine," Hua Yong whispered again, this time with a smile in his voice that made Sheng's stomach twist. It wasn't just a statement, it was a declaration, a promise, a demand. Sheng shivered, trembling with a mix of anticipation, desire, and something deeper he hadn't admitted even to himself. He had been fighting this, denying it, suppressing it for years, but Hua Yong had always known, had always waited, had always planned. And now there was no escape. The night stretched on, endless and intense. Every whispered word, every brush of skin, every stolen moan and shiver built a tension that seemed to fill the entire house. Sheng's body was aflame, every nerve ending alive, every sense consumed. Hua Yong's hands were everywhere at once, teasing, claiming, marking, not just physically but emotionally. Sheng's heart raced, his breath shallow and uneven, his mind a whirlwind of pleasure and shame, pride and surrender.